Hi everyone, my name is Caleb Smith.
Michaela Ryden, and Rihanna Burton.
And today we're going to be doing our presentation on a road to recovery from a knee injury. Ray Miller is a linebacker at Campbell University. He is so talented that he started off in games just as a freshman.
Leading up to tearing his MCL, LCL, and PCL, he was very active on the field. While Miller was running the ball to make a touchdown, he partially tore 3 different ligaments in his knee. Miller continued to be on crutches until after surgery. Miller went into surgery on November 6, 2018.
The role of an occupational therapist is to help people correct the things that enable them from completing everyday tasks.
As occupational therapists, our goal is to heal Miller back to health. Here's a clip of Ray Miller's injury on October 6th at the football game against Wagner. The motor learning skill domains that we focus on in this class were the cognitive skills, the perceptual skills, and the motor skills. Cognitive skills is a skill for which success is primarily determined by an individual's knowledge and cognitive capabilities. For example, like reading or writing.
A perceptual skill is a skill for which the ability to discern and discriminate among sensory stimuli and primary concern of successfully accomplishing a skill.
Motor skills are a learned, goal-directed activity accomplished primarily through muscular contributions to action.
Ray Miller will be coming to us to learn how to walk again. This will be considered a cognitive and a motor skill. This will be considered a cognitive skill because he already knows how to walk. He is just applying what he already knows to his injury. This will also be considered a motor skill because he will have to use his muscles in order to move.
The 3 motor learning theories that applies to Miller's injury is the schema theory, the dynamical systems theory, and the closed loop theory. The schema theory applies because his cognitive state will have to apply the muscle memory that he is learning each and every time he does a rehabilitation exercise. The dynamical system theory applies because he has to use different subsystems of his body, such as the cognitive to put in the thought of rehab, the motivation for the mental endurance, and the physical for the muscle memory to support his rehab workouts. And the closed loop theory applies because with each series of rehabilitation exercises and the repetition receiving, he will receive feedback and motivation in words in which he completes until he completes it in a series where there are minor or little errors.
The motor learning skill classification and components, Miller will be improving his mobility involving walking. Walking is a mixture of balance and coordination.
In Miller's case, him learning how to walk again will be considered a closed growth skill. This skill will be closed because his environment will be controlled. His environment will mostly be at a doctor's office or in rehab. This skill is considered growth because we will be focusing on his improvement.
In this scenario, Ray Miller is the person recovering from multiple torn ligaments of his knee. The task is helping Ray Miller gain his full mobility back in his knee. The environment is the hospital after the surgery, and then his environment changes into a closed environment at the OT's office. Ray's injury is classified as a discrete skill at the beginning of his injury when he was catching the return to continue into a serial skill when he was running. The injury took place as a serial skill of running. However, his recovery is a closed skill and it's a continuous serial skill in the rehabilitation exercises that vary from his knee extensions to foot flexions.
After carefully reviewing the Gentile taxonomy for classification of motor skills, we thought it would be appropriate to categorize these skills as 3A, 3D, 1A, and 1D. These images show just a few techniques that Ray Miller will be using in his road to recovery. Here we have plantar and dorsiflexion. For plantar flexion, he'll be flexing from 0 all the way to 45 degrees. For dorsiflexion, he will be going from 0 to 20 degrees. When it comes to knee flexion and knee extension, he will be going from 0 degrees all the way to 140 degrees. When it comes to the sequence, we will first start off with his feet. After that, we will work our way up to his knee. He will do these exercises over again, and if there is any pain, he will stop.
In order to assess Miller's process, we will be using a 3-phase process: the screening report, the evaluation, and the intervention plan. The screening report is any background information, MRIs, X-rays, to determine what the ultimate goal we're trying to accomplish. The evaluation plan is when we begin to give many exercises to see what progress Miller is making. The intervention plan is used to evaluate Miller's process over the whole time and to create a transition plan to help him in the final steps of his injury.
In preparation for Miller's recovery, pre-surgery he was placed in a full leg brace the day of his injury to limit the mobility of his leg. On November the 6th, he had surgery to reconstruct his MCL, LCL, and PCL. Post-surgery time is expected to take 9 months. After surgery, for the first 3 months, he would be placed in a full leg brace to limit no movement. At 2 months, physical therapy work begins in small sessions to apply slight pressure to the knee and work on foot flexion. At 4 months, intense physical therapy increases the goal to standing and applying pressure to his knee and full leg. At 5 months, the goal is to walk with full pressure and light weights to gain strength back in his leg to gain full mobility back.